compromise your energy. Darling, let your spirit be free. Don't give up, keep on pushing through. Now is the time, it's all up to you. Alchemize your energy, my friend. Let your spirit be free. Don't give up, keep on pushing through. Now is the time, it's all up to you. No matter the storm, but over tragedy. No matter the storm, but over tragedy. No matter the storm, we will always take flight. Keep on pushing through the darkness of night. There's no limit, let's reach for the sky. Shine so bright, from darkness to light.
Welcome to Alchemizing Energy. Today we have our special guest back again, Xion Waring, for a part 2 where he's going to be discussing why women should be modest. Now, I talked to, I actually had a recent show that I did when I was on Too Strong's platform, and there was a young lady up there, her cleavage was showing. And it got pretty interesting because I was like, okay, what's the big deal? What's the big deal? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
What's up, Xion? I wanted to
but did she have a whole boobie out? Is the question.
No, she had.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And people were, and the guys were trying to kind of chastise her for just having this little bit of cleavage showing. But it's like, if you're big breasted, you might have a shirt. Everybody's not going to be walking around with turtlenecks on.
Right.
Especially
so all of the guys were the ones who were triggered by the boobs.
The men were triggered.
You see what I'm saying? But see, yeah, and this is it always brings the question of why should a person not be able to express themselves the way they want to without receiving the negative attention or sexual attention from guys, you know what I mean, or what have you, and I would say that even from the spectrum of men, you know what I'm saying, there's certain things that are appropriate or inappropriate, or depending on the circumstance, or the wherever you're at, you're not going to wear a bathing suit to court, you know what I mean, you're not going to have your pants sagging, you know what I'm saying, at a whatever, you see what I'm saying. So
one part of the conversation we got into is that even in gymnastics he was saying it's not even right for because I said, well, what about track and field where they have to wear those bodysuits, or gymnastics where they have to wear the bathing suits,
right?
And they were like, no, you shouldn't wear that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it gets a little ridiculous, that's ridiculous. I think that there's certain things are appropriate for the occasion. You feel what I'm saying? Bathing suit on the beach, you know what I'm saying, is appropriate, whereas a bathing suit in church is inappropriate. I mean, it's not rocket surgery. Somebody, swimming, that you have to have tight fitted clothes so that you can move and cut through, the water faster, especially if you're racing or whatever, I think that's absurd.
It got very I was like, wow. So is this?
But there are extremes too. You know what I'm saying? So okay, a dude can wear some tight fitted, but is he going to have his junk, a pocket for his junk so that his junk can hang out too? You know what I mean? Now we're crossing boundaries where etiquette, a person can wear a bathing suit for swimming. But are the nipples cut out? Well, I should be able to wear what I want to. This is I feel good with my nipples out. Well, you got people watching. You got children. Watching. This is you're in the Olympics and you want your nipples out, and that should be fine though, because you want your nipples out.
Right. And so
You know what I'm saying?
toward the end of the conversation, I was trying to show like an example of how like there's a reason why certain people have like, especially in certain things,
Right.
they're allowed to have certain like outfits, because
Right.
they have to do it because it's necessarily for, just for aesthetic for the sports. And so
Yeah.
this clip right here, Chris Jones
Oh
running
no.
100-yard combine.
You told me about this, right?
Yeah. He's running. He didn't want to put on the biking shorts and this, that, the other, and he had on some shorts, I guess, that were that he didn't want to wear what everybody else is wearing, was part of track and field. And I guess like I said, he wanted something different.
Wardrobe malfunction.
Wardrobe malfunction. Let's see. This is what happens.
Really
He's
stout
running.
against the
He's
run.
running,
High
and
school
here we
hoops
go.
player.
And his whole jacket fell out. He had to
That
Blue.
slide is now
nose
illegal.
down
in
and
Major
stick
League
it back
Baseball.
in.
I said that slide is now illegal. There are some certain rules, you know what I'm saying, there for a reason. You know what I'm saying?
There's a reason why they have those type of different things, like to hold everything in and keep everything out. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, So
Yeah.
I think that people get too caught up in trying to be too laying down the law too hard. You know what I'm saying? About no, it's not right.
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 Right. You're gonna have that. You're gonna have that. You're
And I
gonna
think
have those who are just overly obsessive and controlling, and and want to be restrictive on oh, you can't do this or you can't do that.
It got so. Listen, I want to show you. It got like so kind of heated about this, and you're about to give a presentation, but I wanted to
Right.
like just show you an example of how it got on this panel. However, it's almost like that's the clothing for the sport. Like when you go to the gymnastic places,
That's the
those are the outfits that give the kids like this.
and that's the trick. That's the trick they told you. It's almost like saying, "Hey, smoke this. It's not crack, but this is a sport you do, but it's gonna have the same effects on you as crack." No, that's the excuse. There's nothing. You cannot tell me that it's okay for you to allow your daughter to walk around in that stuff and perform in front of people. You're tripping.
I said that's stripping.
I don't care about no.
Wait, so if your kid is at gymnastics and she's wearing the outfit for the gymnastics, he's saying that that's kind of considered stripping.
No, that's ridiculous.
Okay, so I wanted to get an idea how far we're gonna go with this modesty.
Yeah, this is crazy.
Okay,
You know what I
okay.
mean?
I know
Yeah, that's
go
crazy.
That far with it.
That's absurd.
Listen, you can't be in gymnastics, god dang it.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
No,
If
track
that's
and field is out, you can't wear that out uniform. You're through. You know what I'm saying? Are we going that
I suppose
far?
there's a lot of fears from certain men as well, especially when it comes to their daughters. But it probably stems also from their own self knowledge of what would be sexually erotic to themselves.
Right. Okay.
You know what I mean? And so they project that onto others. And so, no, you can't wear that because that's too. Somebody's going to look at you. What would tempt you. And so if that, I guess that Bible scripture where it says, if your eye offends you, pluck it out.
Right. Yeah, pluck it on out. Right. Exactly.
He pluck his own eyeball out.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
But and at the end, I was like, I was actually really double thinking my own thoughts about even letting my daughter go to gymnastics. Like, well, maybe I am choosing the wrong thing for her and putting her in harm's way.
No, listen, you're not going to get away from all of the pervs. You know what I mean?
Right.
But at the same time,
you can be at Chuck E. Cheese.
Right. You know what I mean? There are people who live in their lower nature. And that's what I want to discuss. When I speak about modesty, I'm speaking more or less on how one projects one's own nature. Yeah. And one's own your state of being. Where does your mind dwell? Where does your sense of identity, does it dwell in your lower nature, or does it dwell in a higher nature? Or what I'm saying? And I think people who are not spiritual are not going to really know that so much or be concerned with that so much. But people who have spirituality, which I think is important to not only personally but to the family, to your social group etiquette and stuff like that.
So let's get into
important.
the presentation.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you get into your presentation.
Okay.
I'm gonna be like down because I want this is about you
Okay.
and what your thoughts.
All
So
right.
I'll come up and ask a question if it comes to me.
Yeah. Feel free. I add some of those photos that we was talking and you sent me. So.
Okay, for sure,
So.
for sure. All right, here we go.
All right. So yeah, let's get into this. Let's define what this divine feminine, and why modesty, was is and was extremely important. And right now what we're seeing is a paradigm shift within culture, dealing with sexuality and uh, exposing one's or a self-expression, through clothing, fashion, and such. But primarily, you're going to see it within pop culture. How pop culture really has a huge effect on how we view each other, and we also present ourselves. In society. But we don't realize if the positives or negatives behind some of these behaviors. We're just going with the flow, right? So let's define this. Feminine traits. What's the divine feminine? Divine feminine is basically based on these traits. The feminine traits are qualities traditionally linked with the feminine archetypes, such as empathy, the ability to understand and to share others' feelings, nurturing, a caring, supportive disposition, intuition, trusting one's inner wisdom, and emotional intelligence, collaboration, valuing teamwork, and harmonious relationships. Adaptability, the ability to adjust to different situations with grace. Very important word there, grace, y'all. You know what I mean? So let's get into it. I want to use the scripture. You know what I mean? I'm a Rasta, so I'm gonna bring a little scripture here. 2 Timothy 3, and this is relative to both male and female. So I'm not pointing fingers, because it deals directly with both issues in these paradigms. But know this, that in the last days perilous times will come, for men will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, unloving, unforgiving, slanderers, without self-control, brutal, despisers of good, traitors, head-haughty, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having a form of godliness but denying its power, and from such people turn away. For of this sort are those who creep into households and make captive of gullible women, laden down with sins, led away by various lusts, always learning and never able to come to the knowledge of truth. Now as Jenny's resisted Moses. Okay, move on. So I wanted to touch that. We have a lot of imagery within our, our community of kings and queens. And when I deal with the divine feminine, I'm speaking from a very Rastafari, very Afrocentric, perspective. So this is from my perspective. You know what I'm saying? You have your opinion. I'm voicing mine, right? You could say it's subjective, in essence, but there's some things that we need to discuss from that, right? So let's go here. So in Kabbalah, you have, the tree of life, and it's a representation. It's a model. It's not, it's not witchcraft, magic. First and foremost, it's a model that does witchcraft and stuff. Align, scripture aligns, even comedic science and stuff aligns with this. But in this, we see a model that shows the higher nature, the nature of the heart, and the lower nature, which is the loins, which is the sexual, organs, the reproductive organs, right? So you have your crown, you have your heart, and you have your loins. You know what I'm saying? And here is where we stand in the world, in the kingdom, right? So just a little, given the animal soul and the divine soul, right? So those the negative faculties, positive faculties. So in order to define what is divine, desire to receive for the sake of sharing is, a virtue, or an animal soul is the desire to receive for the self alone, right? So we see a lot of existential, ideals that are more prominent now today, where people are more focused on the self as opposed to the collective. Okay. So once again, here, you have the tree of life here, and then here on that line on this side here, on this side, this is the upper nature, the upper self, the higher self, and this is the lower self. The lower self is the carnal, deals with death. It deals with sexuality, the carnal nature in that sense, lust, the seven sins, and in each of these, you couldn't connect that. I mean, that's a whole nother conversation, getting into the deities and the Elohim, the gods that we see in the Bible in the Middle East, and et cetera, et cetera. But here, I'm just using this to basically give an illustration of how one can be either of a higher nature or of a lower nature, and what that lower nature represents, or the higher nature represents, are higher qualities, higher virtues. The lower represents lusts, passions, desires, self interests. You know what I'm saying? That are carnal. Okay. So you got your 7 deadly sins: lust, gluttony. All of these are lower nature, right? Lust, gluttony, greed, sloth, wrath, envy, pride, right? And we're very familiar with those. Now, understanding what this whole age of Aquarius is, and coming into this age, the age of sexual freedom, the age of sexual self-expression, right? That which really began in 1960s and stuff like that. They claim it began in 1960s, the shifting of this age, right? So it says here, the age of Aquarius, an astrological age, is the time frame of about 2,000 to 2,500 years that signifies a particular zodiacal influence. The astrological age lasts many hundreds of generations, and overall zodiac keynote is seen in the predominant civilizations, cultures, and religions on Earth at the time. In the early 1960s, the Earth shifted from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius, the sign of humanitarianism, equality, progress in invention and technology, right? And the age of Pisces, characterized by the Axle age, religious values, devotion, solitude, humility, eventually denigrated into a disconnect between the spirit and the body, the higher and the lower nature. The age of Aquarius unveils the revolutionary teachings of sacred sexuality, right? Certainly it was supposed to be sacred, but have we lost the sacredness? The question here, right? So what is Aquarius? Let's just, just as a brief overhaul, who is Aquarius, and understand how this relates to the cultural paradigm in this time. You know what I'm saying? So we have the Greek mythology, Ganymede. Ganymede is a divine hero whose homeland was Troy. Homer described Ganymede as the most handsome of mortals and tells the story of how he was abducted by the gods to serve as Zeus's cupbearer. Okay, keep in mind that cupbearer. That cup represents the female feminine function, as to receive. You know what I'm saying? The cup, that grail. When you see the Holy Grail in some of the old early Western Christian theologies, like the Knights Templar and stuff, that cup is representing something that is it's more than just the cup. Put it that way. Right, the Latin form for the name of Catamatus, and also Ganymede, which is where we get Aquarius, from which the English word catamite is derived. The earliest forms of the myth have no erratic content, But somewhere in the 5th century BCE, it was believed that Zeus had a sexual passion for him. In fact, in the stories, Zeus abducted him and basically raped him for thousands of years. He blesses him with eternal youth, and he becomes a god. Right? He becomes he becomes a little boy who never grew up, and this is where the story of Peter Pan really is derived from. So if you want to make those,
is that also the same thing with Cupid and stuff?
Cupid is closely related too. I think Cupid, that Cupid is different in as a deity, or however, I think that their stories are intertwined, right? So Ganymede, Socrates says that Zeus was in love with Ganymede, called Desire, in Plato's Phaedrus, right? So he had it was called agape. It was what they practiced in Greek pederasty, right? And churches nowadays use that as a representation of what is called the love between a male and a young boy, right? So Socrates was a well-known pederast, in Greek history. So why is this, that this symbol of Aquarius, this age of Aquarius, sexual, that the symbol is coming from a very erotic Greco-Roman mythos, right? That is related to the graping of this, he was a baby, his child. And then how that gave him basically immortality, right? He was immortalized through his sexual function for the gods. Okay? Pay attention to that. So, no crunch monster. Me not crotch monster. Fireball. Pimping. Where's the pimp cup come from, y'all? The pimp cup comes from the cup of Ganymede. It's very, So what is the procuring? Right? Prostitution, pimping, pandering, the facilitation or provision of a prostitute or other sex worker in the arrangement of a sex act with a customer, procurer, colloquially called a pimp, if male, or madam if female, though the term pimp has often been used for female procurers as well. Or a brothel keeper as an agent of prostitutes who collects part of the earnings. This is all going to make sense in a little while, y'all. You're like, why does this have anything to do with, the divine feminine and modesty, right? All right, so procurer may receive this money in return for advertising services, physical protection, and or providing the possibly monopolizing a location where the prostitute may solicit clients, like prostitution. The legality of certain actions of a madam or a pimp vary from one region to the next, right? So we got that. So we have this cult in black culture. It's pimping in the whole nine. It's very popular. You know what I'm saying? We had in a lot of 1990s music and hip hop music, a pimp actually became a positive thing, right? You know what I'm saying? You call a bro, yo, what's good, pimping? You know what I'm saying? Looking clean, pimp. You know what I mean? It has become a term of endearment amongst men. You know what I mean? So it's interesting how something of this can become something that's considered positive. But let's go back to the historical roots, the sexualization of black women and girls, right? So this was an article that I had just recently found. Like many issues involving race in our country, the view of black women and girls as hypersexualized has its roots in racism. Understanding how our culture came to believe that black women and girls were more sexually advanced and can help us to eradicate this harmful way of thinking to protect all women and girls from sexual violence. Okay. This is where it gets serious, y'all. Before the slave trade took hold in America, European travelers to Africa were both fascinated and appalled by the dress and practices of Africans that they encountered there. The minimal amount of clothing worn by Africans appropriate in hot climates in hot climate, the fact that some tribes practice polygamy, and seemingly suggestive tribal dances led to these Europeans to believe that Africans were sexually lewd. William Smith wrote that African women were hot constituted ladies who were conditionally contriving stratagems on how to gain a lover. The initial stereotype of Black women as sexually promiscuous arose from these writings. Later, these notions, after others, were used to justify enslaving Africans. During the era of slavery in the United States, the idea that Black women had insatiable appetites for sex was used to justify the rape of enslaved Black women by their owners for owners to practice, had the added effect of producing additional enslaved people. Under the laws of the time, any child born to an enslaved person would also be enslaved. As a result, the owner would be able to increase his personal wealth through committing horrific crimes because enslaved people were considered property. Enslaved women could not legally be raped under law at the time. In contrast, enslaved men, right? Hold on. Enslaved men who engaged in relationships with white women, rather consensually or not, would be put to death, right? So we know that. This is very interesting because, here, our elders are looking at us. Look, they are not pleased. They are not pleased with us. Since you gave me this photo, did you want to give me your take on this picture that you had given me?
I was just thinking about the fact of the ancestors. We have to think about our ancestors and how they were treated and how they looked, how they still tried to maintain some type of dignity,
some form of dignity, right? And and just to say, back in those days, they had considering all of the atrocities that Black women had faced, and how they were sexualized, to cover themselves, and to and nobody's saying that you have to be dressed like you're in the 1800s. However, their modesty was very important to maintaining their integrity, though they probably have suffered some of the cruelest acts, done to them. You understand what I'm saying? So I think this is a very important picture.
Yeah.
And you can see the oppression, the years of oppression. I think if you look in their faces,
Right. I'm like, who took the picture? What happened to say cheese? You know what I'm saying?
Right. They're like, ain't nothing to smile about, right? What was his name? Freaking DMX was like, what you smiling about?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
They got all them clothes
smiling, you know what I'm saying?
They probably wish they could put on a little bit of something.
Right,
They had to have all them. They like they were hot.
But and that's to protect themselves too, from being, overly or looked at or oogled over or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Here we go with Sarah Bartman, Venus Suzanne Laurie Parks, right? Venus is Suzanne Laurie Parks' gripping and theatrical depiction of the 19th century Hottentot Sarah Bartman, a woman lured from her menial job in South Africa to tour the world as a sideshow exhibit. The New Yorker called Venus a formidable experience and gnarly but brilliant meditation on ambiguity of race, history, and colonized imagination, sexuality, and theatrical storytelling itself, adult language theme. So remember Sarah Bartman, how they used her and exploited her body, you know what I'm saying? And pretty much just treated her. She gained no dignity because of her, her being over sexualized, and quite the opposite, So this is a part of that other article that I was just reading before. Other factors during slavery era led to the view that Black women and girls were highly sexual. First, enslaved women and girls were frequently pregnant. This was encouraged as a way to increase the number of slave people on a plantation and often rewarded. When an enslaved woman or a girl became pregnant, it was often used as proof that she had an insatiable sexual appetite. At the same time, enslaved people were regularly put on auction blocks and in naked or nearly naked state. This display of black women stood in stark contrast to white women who were clothed nearly head to toe. It reinforced the idea that white women were modest and pure, while black women were immodest and sexually lewd. After the Civil War and the end of slavery and the sexual victimization of black women and girls did not end, the crime of grape was common. Yet, from the end of Civil War until the 1960s, no Southern white male was convicted of grape or attempted grape grape of a black woman or girl. If assaulted a black man by a black man, many black women and girls did not report the crime to authorities. That's a cultural thing that we was talking about recently on Sarnetta's show, right? For fear that the assailant would be put to death. One of the reasons why black folks swept a lot of things under the rug, right? We would, be killed or or whatever for very crimes that people were doing to us and getting away with. The portrayal of black women in crimes as sexual promiscuous Jezebels continued throughout the 20th century and is prominent to this day. Memorabilia from the 1900s often show black women and girls as highly sexualized with large breasts and buttocks. They may be pregnant, have multiple children, or simply be shown as one-dimensional sexual beings. Some memorabilia from this era sexualizes children as well, depicting pregnant black children or young black children with breasts covering their genitals with paper fans. In movies and pop culture, black women have generally been depicted as highly sexualized fallen women, quote unquote, when they weren't being shown as mammies. The point of being made was clear, not subtle in American society, but black women and girls were viewed as promiscuous and sexually deviant even from a young age. With the history like this, is it any wonder that our culture currently views black girls in the same way, right? So let's look at this. Going back, 1920s, you sent me this picture of what's the sister's name again?
That's
Josephine Baker, right? Who a lot of people say Betty Boop was stolen from, right?
No, there was an actual Betty Boop. There was actually
right, the actual Betty Boop, and then you had the
lovely. There's another lady.
Right. Okay, yeah. And then Eartha Kitt, you know what I'm saying, absolutely gorgeous, in that time. But in order for them to gain that fame, you know what I'm saying, they had to be placed on display, their sexuality being over sexualized. This was like pornography to those kind of clubs were like strip clubs back in the Roaring 20s, and images and photos like this were considered like porn or soft porn back then. So what's the how far does this thing go back, and is this something that we should be proud of, or something that we should continue to engage in collectively, right? It's the question. But let's go to the Daisy Age, because I love the Daisy Age. You know what I'm saying? Not everything in hip hop was always overly sexualized, or in black culture and black music, black entertainment. We had a time period, we called the Daisy Age, we had Queen Latifah. She came out strong, black sister, representing, that red, black, and green, real strong. Salt and Pepper, came out real strong with very positive music. Moni, I should have put her in the middle. Moni Love, and MC Light, and these sisters, they weren't overly sexualized, and they were still, they were beautiful, they're still beautiful today. But
I think even Yo-Yo
wasn't necessary.
Even Yo-Yo said, you can't play with my yo-yo, honey.
Right.
Don't try to play me out. Don't try to play
right.
me
Don't try to play me out. Right. So, there was dignity and this is one of the reasons that we saw this big shift from this culture, into, we had great, musicians, Shaka Khan, love the dignity, not overly sexualized, Patti LaBelle, all these sisters. Sade came with that regal, divine, feminine energy. You know what I'm saying? I want to show this, you know what I'm saying, that divine feminine energy, that dignity that, you know, that we were able to exude without having to, you know, advertise our lower nature. Was she beautiful? Absolutely. Would men still drool over? Absolutely. Did she have to have her yidams on display? No yidams necessary. Right? Same thing. Anita Baker, beautiful, beautiful, classy. I love, you know, Anita Baker. You know, me and Sister Ty was talking about this recently. But you know, there was a conflict going on, you know, during the 80s. We had, you know, coming out of, you know, 1970s and stuff like that. Even though there was hypersexualization within the music industry, there still was a representation of Black folks who, you know, Black men and women who, you know, didn't drink the Kool-Aid, or, you know what I'm saying, did not sell, you know what I'm saying, their sexual wares. You know what I mean? You still talk about love and romance without it being lewd, right? Right. We get into the Kali, the destructive, the female destroyer, right? So so even in Hinduism, you know, we often think of the divine feminine as, you know, people just want to believe that it's only, you know, the submissive, the gentle, the loving, the nurturing, but there is another side to the woman as well. The divine feminine has the divine feminine destroyer, you know, even in African cultures as well. Well, in African cultures, you know, when you deal with the divine, you know, each god, or, you know, orisha or deity, they have both very humanistic and very divine natures, right? It's not like how Western Christianity tries to make it seem like, you know, the angels, you know what I'm saying, they're all just good, you know what I'm saying, and God is just good, and Jesus is just good, right? Everything is good and sweet, you know what I'm saying, tiptoe through the tulips, right? No, there is both the duality of nature of both the good and the evil, right? And what we're seeing now is the other side of the divine feminine, which is the feminine destroyer, the destructive force, the anger of 450 years of being overly sexualized, overly the mistreatment, the exploitation, the objectification. The anger is coming out, and this is where I think some things we see in rap music, rap culture amongst our sisters is becoming, you know, it's a different divine energy in that sense, you know. So Kali is a significant goddess in Hinduism, often associated with time, death, and destruction. She embodies both fierce and nurturing aspects, symbolizing the duality of life and death. Kali is considered a powerful mother figure, representing motherly love. This is interesting. I don't know if I agree with that, because in many of the pictures of Kali, she actually has her own children hanging dead, and she's pretty much stepping on her man. You know what I'm saying? She's like, her foot is on his neck. She's got swords with blood dripping off of it, and baby and the skulls of dead children. Okay, so let's go. So the depicted in a dark form, symbolizing a transformative power of destruction that leads to renewal. Well, I hope so. In Hindu mythology, she is the incarnation of the goddess Parvati, and is also known for her role in defeating demons like Mahishara and Rakajab, right? Showing her protective nature, Kali is referred not only for her fearsome, hold on. Let's go back here. We'll get to that. Her fearsome attributes, but also a loving and nurturing mother, making, well, in the story that I heard, you know what I'm saying, well, you know, that I've read, you know, Lord Shiva, you know what I'm saying, was, you know, had to actually, because she was basically going to kill her man, you know what I'm saying? She was killing everybody, you know what I'm saying? Babies, men, you know what I'm saying? Husband, no matter what, it was like, you know, everything was going to go die. Everything's going to die. right? So, he had to, basically try to, get her to calm down in order for her to come back to, the other side, that nurturing side, that loving side. So, so what I'm kind of relating this to is there is a destructive force within the community, and I believe by design, our women have been targeted, you know what I'm saying, and that that we're seeing, we're seeing that divine feminine destructive force right now. You know what I'm saying? Not only in this age of Aquarius, but this paradigm of hypersexual and lower nature, the separation between the spirit and the body. We're more focused on the flesh, the physical things. This destructive force is showing its face. Okay. So who started all of this well, in the hip hop community, after Moni Love and them, you know what I'm saying? I probably could have organized my slides a little bit better. So part self, but after Moni Love and Queen Latifah and all of this, that time period, Sade and Patti LaBelle and all of these, very regal, just royal queens, of our community, that divine feminine, all of a sudden, within hip hop, then that not only just the gangster rap, began to take over that conscious music, that conscious positive stuff that we were doing. The hypersexualization comes back into our industry.
You know what's so crazy? I know we at first I thought it was just her who started that whole trend.
It probably went back further than that, than her.
No,
yeah.
Let me show you. Boom.
Okay.
You know who that is?
Let me see. No. Ew. I don't remember who that is. Why is she on the toilet? God damn it.
That's Millie Jackson.
Oh, Millie Jackson.
Yep.
Wow.
So she started off with that raunchy stuff, like
right.
legs gapped open, because they had all.
Yeah.
There's something about this gapped open leg thing that
yeah. Yep.
That's I think that's the new getting shot in the butt, that they make.
right. Like, so in order for them
to
to get the attention, they had to portray that hypersexualized black female that we are familiar from slavery, right? So Missy Misdemeanor Elliott, Nicki Minaj, fashion, black feminine, female sexuality and hip hop culture, girl power. This is a book, I think, and it's the abstract here. Clip that. Since the emergence of hip hop in the early 80s, African American women's sexuality and its correlation to their search for self-identity and self-control have been at the forefront of the genre's discourse, using a multidisciplinary theoretical framework, objectification theory, scripting theory, and black feminist epistemologies. This article explores the fashion aesthetic, the imagery, the celebrity culture of two major African-American female hip-hop masters, Nicki Minaj and Missy Elliott, which, I don't want to know if they could stand in the same, whatever. To examine how the sexual politics of hip hop culture has helped to define their sexuality, agency, and subjectivity by examining the styles of professional choices and the fashion of their careers in hip hop media. We explore the extent to which they have refuted or submitted to the distorted view of African American female sexuality. So I would say definitely Missy probably refuted. I remember really seeing her with her boobies hanging out. You know what I'm saying?
They refuted it, and then they made her look like a character.
They did. You know what I'm saying? They turned her into a cartoon character. Yes, right. When
you look back at those videos, I mean, they seem like they were innovative back there.
Yeah.
But it's almost like they just didn't know what to do.
Right. Like she couldn't just, I don't know.
Okay, you're not gonna show your boobs. We don't know. Just put a garbage can on.
Right.
Put some air into it.
Right.
You know what I'm
right. Make you as weird and as off-brand as any. You know what I'm saying? Right.
Fisheye lens.
Couldn't just be, a positive, strong sister. You know what I mean? Yeah,
Right.
you had to
I
throw a
mean, but even
garbage
though
bag on.
Missy Elliott, I mean, I got to give it to her. She's
Yeah,
a very talented producer.
genius. Mm-hmm.
But it seemed like they just didn't know what to do with her.
Mm-hmm. Like it was like they were trying to turn her into the female version of Busta Rhymes or something.
Yes, that's what female Busta Rhymes, right?
You know what I'm saying?
And it was the same videographer doing all those same videos. Hype Williams was
Right.
doing all the videos.
Right.
So you mean to tell me is that you don't know what to do with Missy Elliott, and you have like but you know when you see Janet Jackson's videos,
right.
You know what I'm saying? And Hype
Right.
was doing all of those videos back in that.
And look how Janet really kept herself for a long time. She never fell into that, until I guess the wardrobe malfunction. You know what I'm saying?
But she had that one album when she came out trying to be sexy, and that was when she did that. That's the way love.
Yeah, she's still penny to me. You know what I'm saying?
she started doing the That's the Way Love Goes. She showed
right. Oh, I love that video. I love that.
And then she started going to concerts and hunching on people, and then putting them on this like contraption that looked like some kind of BDS.
Yeah, when she started getting all BDS stuff crazy and stuff. Yeah, that's when it was crazy. I you know what I'm saying? I'm all for Janet from Rhythm Nation. You know what I'm saying? But all the BDS stuff is like, oh man. Or what about that one song when she, you know what I'm saying, with all the colors, she was like on some tropical island. I forget the name of that song. She was out. I used to love that video. She was just a divine, heavenly, you know what I'm saying, had the curly hair with the, you know what I'm saying, that little Afrocentric thing going on. I forget which song that was, but I, that I love that imagery, and we're not really seeing all of that anymore. It's like they tried to stamp that, or they, effectively stamp that out. Yeah, and now we're getting this.
Her videos anymore, yeah.
Yeah, so and then you have all of that. You know what I'm saying?
But you
have to put the X's on it because
all this stuff is produced by men.
Right.
These
but these sisters
they
are
don't
doing
write their own music. And
you don't think Nicki writes her own music?
She might write some of it, but remember her boyfriend.
Red?
What's his name? Safari was writing a lot of her stuff when she first came out.
I wouldn't know. You know what I'm saying? I turn my eyes away from such things.
Her boyfriend Safari was writing a lot of her stuff. So, but they all that's what I'm saying. They all have to get into this legs gapped open pose.
Right.
So to me,
and then wonder why. But you can't. Well, men should be higher. Why should a man be in his higher self if you're in your lower self?
You know what I'm thinking too is that a lot of
you're seeking that attention.
A well-known stripper pose. So when strippers became
very popular,
much, this is something that people started to do, and they don't even realize that they're bringing this out of the strip club and into like mainstream.
I've gone to strip clubs when I was young. You know what I'm saying? Still trying to figure myself out. You know what I mean? But
I don't know any rapper that have not gotten into this pose. I mean, Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion. What female rapper?
Well, now the crazy thing is niggas is doing it. Well, what's going on here? You know what I'm saying? What alternate universe did I walk into? You know what I'm saying?
Right. You go to get your picture done. They say, okay, listen, I need you to crouch down and I need you to
Uncle Perb looking over here. And wonder why you get that attention. Listen, you put it out there. If Uncle Perm holler, you know what I'm saying? Just smile and be kind.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
No, that's that guy that be dancing and stuff.
But this is what I love. You know what I'm saying? We had in the neo soul era. You know what I'm saying? They were trying to give that pushback on that. You know what I'm saying? You had the India Irie. You know what I'm saying? Love her. Check. You know what I'm saying? Check on that. You know what I mean? Erica Badu, love her. Badu, I call her Badu. That's my little name for her. Loved it. You know what I'm saying? And the dignity, the beauty that they, the strength, you know what I'm saying, that they exemplified without having to compromise themselves or advertise their wares.
Yep. Yeah.
It wasn't necessary. Well, were they still fine as hell? They ain't nobody going to, now they say, everybody be like, don't get with Erica Badu because you going to be you going to come out all weird. You know what I'm saying? Erica Badu will transform you, bro. You know what I mean? Look at Common Sense and Andre 3000. You know what I'm saying? That niggas playing flutes, but you got it. But but this is cute to folks today. And I'm not gonna judge nobody. You know what I'm saying? No judgment. Here. How does this represent us? Women positive. I mean, this is all little Kim right here. But look at little Kim. Look at what she looks at today. Not she apparently never really loved how she looked. And I think little Kim was gorgeous. Beauty wise.
And what was wrong with having little boobies? How she had? She should have kept.
She had to, like she ain't have to freaking daggone jack it up. You know what I'm saying?
That's another thing. All these body, all this stuff is helping us to hurt ourselves because now the BBL is coming out. People
the BBLs is crazy,
yo. Into their behinds and
and
getting these fake boobs put in.
Right.
Just I heard more than a mouthful is too much anyway, or something like that. I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? You was talking about the hair and stuff too, though. The lack of love for Black women's hair, or for sisters, and the damage that it's causing. You know what I'm saying? And that this is not just to get away from the modesty thing, but the how much damage was done to the self-image of Black women. We have a lot of guys, in the manosphere tearing Black women down enough, right? And so we don't want to do that. But but we do want to point out that there is a clear trail of evidence that Black women, their self-identity has been truly damaged. You know what I'm saying? Truly damaged, and there has to be discussion on how to repair that sense of identity, that having being proud of one's natural beauty. Sure, if you want to wear a wig, but why you don't wear a wig because you have to, if it's because you want to, you know what I'm saying? But you should be proud of your natural hair. And in the years of some women can't walk out the hair unless out the door unless their hair is done, you know what I'm saying, or braided, or they have a weave or tracks put in their hair, you know what I'm saying, to wear the bonnets and stuff like that.
And that's a dangerous thing because that hair, first of all, we all know that hair is getting cut off of people's heads, that are sacrificing it for their karma. And you're putting that stuff on your hair, and if you want to go to the synthetic stuff, it causes cancer.
Right.
This stuff is just not healthy for us.
Right. It really isn't, And these products are not 90% of these products are not even created by our own people, and so our money is just consistently going out of the community because of the great, this multi-billion-dollar, business dealing with Black women's desire to not, or lack of love or for their own hair,
and please don't tell me about a protective style underneath these wigs like this, because all that stuff is doing is destroying your edges. That's why this lady's sitting over here with no edges in her hair, so much glue in her hair.
And what's wrong with your natural hair, sisters? What is wrong with your natural? Oh, I can't do dread. Okay, do an afro. You can still rock your naturally braided hair. That the braids are culturally our thing. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to destroy your hair or wear all of the straight stuff. Not saying that you can't. I'm just saying, I hope it's not because you don't like your hair. You know what I'm saying? That shouldn't be the reason. You don't like the texture of your hair. You Black folk used to tease each other and call each other nappy, and buckshots and all of this stuff back in the hair. Black men still and women still to this day tease women with shorter hair, and they have the little and they're trying to put a ponytail in it, and they have short hair. They tease each other over that. I've seen it all throughout high school, and still in my adult years, people are still doing it. You know what I mean? But your hair is beautiful. Your hair is absolutely gorgeous. And it saddens me that I don't see more of this than this and this.
I think that part of it is because they don't feel like, from a professional level, they'll be accepted by wearing
F
dreadlocks.
that. Yeah, F
Also,
that. You know what I'm saying? Can those the East Indians and the Hindus and stuff like that, when they go, they get turbans and stuff like that, they can still work in corporate America with their turban and still have their Indian identity.
yeah, I got fired when I wore a head wrap to work.
Mm-mm. I would have had, you don't have to fire me. I quit. You know what I'm saying? Word up. Say less. You know?
But remember, they were
But we
fired.
shattered that. You know, but let's get on the men now. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the perviest group in all of hip hop. You know? The Yin Yang Twins, you know what I'm saying? I just think that song and stuff, to the window, to the wall. You know, all of that music was objectifying, sexualizing women. You know what I'm saying? Even Snoop Dogg's first album, you know what I'm saying? Doggy Style or whatever it was. You know what I'm saying? We Don't Love Them Hoes was the anthem. And everybody was dancing, the black women too. Right? All up in the tip drill videos, getting credit cards swiped down their butt cracks.
And that's
right?
crazy that BET was the one who started that whole thing.
Yeah.
So it's like it's definitely an agenda going on.
So, they go back and I get my X on that yet. You know what I mean? Yeah, bam. You know. So let's get into this too. Okay, back to the Aquarian age though. You know what I'm saying? Another thing about, and this is why we're gonna get with the over-sexualization of men and the hyper feminization of men. You know, and this is not to knock anybody with their own gender preferences and stuff. You take it how you feel or if you fit. All right. But androgyny and remember who Aquarius is. He's Ganymede, who was the male sexual object of the Greek gods, and in his feminine function, performing in the cup was to receive, not to give. He didn't have a sword. He didn't have a lightning bolt. He didn't have a you know what I'm saying, a 3-pronged fork. He had a cup. Think about it. It's a feminine function.
Man, right? So a pimp holds that cup.
Yes.
I mean, he's kind of gay.
Well, back in the day, you could say that. You could say that there were pimps who were also exploring, you know what I'm saying, their sexual boundaries too. Everything was focused on sex and around.
I heard if the woman can't do the trick, he got to do the trick.
He gonna have to do the trick, right? Look at the perms, though, right? Look how the pimp used to wear hair curlers and high heel shoes. You know what I'm saying? Couldn't tell me them dudes didn't go and get their fingernails manicured. You know what I'm saying? And get some. You know, they had the pinky out, the pinky ring. The symbols of femininity. They're feminine. You know?
And you know what's another thing too? If you notice in the Hollywood, most of the women that are wearing a lot of these outfits and this hair and this all stuff, it's gay stylists that are styling them.
Right.
And they're bringing a lot of the stuff from the ballroom scene into the Hollywood. Those wigs, those lace front wigs.
Right.
That was in the ballroom scene, in the gay scene.
Right.
And then it got put into then they got the woman wearing those things. So
those big bouffant type, yeah.
People have bald heads. These are men wearing these wigs. We
got
hair.
Right. And that whole I forget what it was called. The it's not the Victorian stuff, but even with Prince was very much into that kind of fashion era with the lace and, you know what I'm saying, and such like that. And you know, Prince's symbol, we already know Prince's symbol was both the male and female symbol put together, right? So look at this. Uranian is the 19th century term that referred to a person of a third sex, originally someone with a female psyche and a male body who is sexually attracted to men, and later extended to cover homosexual gender variant females and a number of other sexual types. Delving a little deeper, I find that the original origin of this association with the word Uranian, Uranus, right, with the third sex originated with the German scholar named Karl Heinrich Ulrich, who was what we could today call transgender, meaning he identified as a woman in a man's body. The term Uranian was picked up by Victorian writers such as Oscar Wilde, who wrote to have altered my life, would have been to have admitted that Uranian's love is ignoble. I hold it to be noble, more than noble in other forms, right? Ulrich's chart, which I don't think couldn't get that, Uranian square, the moon in Wilde's chart. As we transition to into the Aquarian age, it is not surprising that gender roles are blurring and homosexuality is becoming more openly accepted. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. Pause. You heard what he said. He said what he said. Uranus governs radical behavior and rebellion against status quo, and this includes greater acceptance of lifestyles that don't fit into the rigid social norms that fall under Saturn's domain. With Pluto, Lord of destruction and regeneration, traveling through Capricorn. So this is getting a little, signs these rigid social structures, Capricorn, are being a lot of these folks, they follow the Gnostic and astrological, all throughout European culture as well. So when they talk about this age of Aquarius, this is that age of sexual liberation, which I think that the Hindus would consider like that Kali, that feminine destroyer. You have the male and the androgyny, the blending or blurring of gender. But the interesting thing is, it's all focused on sex. So all lower nature stuff, all revolving around the Prince, androgyny, right? Love Prince, don't get it twisted, absolute genius. But he had, in order for him to be accepted into this community, he had to, later on we see before he passed away, he had the afro and the whole nine. I didn't say that he had some feminine traits, but he wasn't, he wasn't like this.
You know what? I think in that time, like the 80s, the male groups were like they had to wear like eyeliner and
right. Look at Earth, Wind and Fire. If you look at one of their albums, they had the shirts. One of them dudes had the shirt tied up to here, all permed. Looked like they had lip gloss on. Really tight leather pants with the bell bottoms and high heel shoes. And they in order for and that goes even back with Flip Wilson. Even the here we go. All the actors, the black male actors who had to wear dresses, right? And so there was always this thing where black men, and this is related to because they're portraying who are they portraying? They're portraying black women. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and why is it that the ones that do this
fire bun? You know what I mean?
Fire bun.
You know what I'm saying? It's crushed out. Look at this crap. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with the, it's to me that, and everybody says that, the sagging thing comes from, it doesn't, I don't necessarily think that it comes from, the gay stuff or the homosexuality in prison. With the fact that most men, weren't given a belt in jail. However, probably by design, so that men's butts would be hanging out in prison, right? You see, everyone in the industry, in the rap industry, and now, the young thug. You know what I'm saying? Now, he's over here looking like Diana Ross and Mahogany. Do you know where you're going to? You know what I'm saying? Do you like the things that life is showing you?
Right.
I can't. I can't call it, bro. You know what I'm saying? We'll put a big bam on that too.
Right.
But it's
coming out.
Right. Look
Remember
at the
that
beauty of
Diana
our
Ross's
concert
and stuff.
Uh-huh.
All he needed is his hair blowing
Right.
in the wind,
and none of this is replicating any of our divine black women. Why? You know what I'm saying? It's not. It's replicating the over sexualized hood booger. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. Even there's Sammy Davis with Flip Wilson. You know. And we've lost focus of our beauty. Is this being overly wrapped up? No, I think it's the traditional Ethiopian garb and dresses, and there's other cultures, and our sisters like in the Rastafari, they dress the way they choose. They choose to dress, regally and royally. It's not some, patriarchal forced hand. You know what I'm saying? Upon our empresses, they hold themselves to a certain standard, and and they see the beauty, and we see the beauty in that. You know what I mean? So we don't have to go there, but you got this guy. Come on now, you don't know what he is, man. He's Diddy. You know what I'm saying?
Well, did he?
He's going both ways, and you know what I'm saying, slapping all kinds of cheeks.
Little Kim came out on Diddy's label, and what if she
right,
gapping her legs open in that
right,
whole movement,
right.
Now you got all the other women gapping their legs.
This is what how they've become rich and famous. You know what I'm saying? Pushing the negative stereotypes, bad boy for life. You know what I'm saying? Pushing those negative stereotypes onto us to become wealthy. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, bruh. You know what I'm saying? What goes around comes around. Karma is a sexy bitch. Excuse me. You know what I'm saying? You went and joined into the that sexual deviance, the obsessive over sexualized behavior, and that became his his entire lifestyle, and now his entire career. You know what I'm saying? Is stained with baby oil. I'm supposed to laugh at that. But it's true, and this is not good. This is not good for us. This is not good for our community. And it's not to knock anyone's, preference. It's to knock the over obsessive, over lustful freaking, just it's getting weird.
Somebody want me to drop the link. I mean, you
yeah. Well, hold on. Yeah, I'm on. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So this is
he got a few more slides, and I'm gonna drop.
So yeah, I'm almost at the end. So this is what I see. This is my vision of what the balance of male and female. You know what I'm saying? Husband, wife, king, queen. That's that divine masculine, divine feminine, divine masculine, harmoniously. You know what I'm saying? United. That's just, you call it pseudo, you call it what it is. I think it's just basic, basic science. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it's nature. You know what I mean? The beauty of, black man, black woman, you know what I'm saying? That natural, you know what I mean? There's no shame. There's no, obsessive. There's no, degrading imagery in that, king, and queen. So I believe that's where I end off. Yeah, man. We give thanks. So yeah, you can bring up anyone.
That was a beautiful presentation. All right, so I'm gonna drop a link for anyone that wants to come up. I agree with you. Like I said, and unfortunately we thought it came from the rap, the hip hop, and now look back, and then
Right.
saw Millie Jackson.
Right. That's crazy. I didn't even know. I didn't realize
Yeah,
that.
she's
Yeah.
sitting on the toilet. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? That's
Right.
even worse.
And even looking back to Grace Jones too, they hypersexualized her. You know
well,
what I
that
mean?
man, I still it's Grace Jones. Is she really a woman or a man?
Yes, she's a woman. She actually used to
Oh,
come out from here in
I didn't know whether
Syracuse. Yeah, she was
I
from
didn't know whether she
Syracuse.
was transgender.
Her brother is Bishop Noel Jones, very famous preacher on all over the television and stuff like that. I don't know if you ever heard of Noel Jones, but that's Grace Jones's brother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Welcome to the panel, MD Revo. What's up?
Shalom.
What's
Shalom.
up? How you doing? How you doing? Y'all can hear
All
me?
right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm just joining the show and just learning from what you feel is the righteous way that the black woman and the black man should be represented in society. So I was just checking it out.
Give thanks, man. So what do you think? Do you think it's am I off or
No, I mean I think I think it's all I think everybody should have the freedom
Mhm,
to dress the way they want to dress, to look the what
mhm,
they want to look. I think at the end of the day, it's not going to be your outward appearance. It's going to make you a king and queen. It's going to be what you do for humanity, what you do for your own family, and what you do for other people to empower them.
mhm.
So it would be just because I know people who look like that, dude, and they just dirty, like dirty minded or
Right, right,
dirty in the soul. Like I've been
right,
around
right,
that,
right,
you know what I'm saying? So and
right.
that's what I used to get caught up in that. I used to see somebody wearing a certain type of clothes,
Mhm.
um, certain type of hairstyle, and automatically in my brain I'm saying, okay, that's a righteous woman, that's a righteous
Mhm.
man, but it ended up being different. And then
Right.
on the other side, I didn't see gangbangers dressed in certain type of clothes, hat to the back, and they was cool and righteous. Like, you know what I mean? They would be
Yeah.
kicking it and they were doing stuff in the community to be able to help, but they just looked a certain way. And
Mhm.
that was like a stereotype to me, is to
Right,
be able to judge somebody based on how they look and not by who they are as
right,
personality
right,
and
right.
character.
I would
You know
say
what I'm saying?
I would say that in most cases somebody is going to present themselves according to how how they uh, how they think.
Mhm.
If I'm seeking the attention of women and sexual attention of women, then I'm going to be the type of dude that walks around with no shirt on or a tank top, or what I'm saying, or just lots of gold on. A lot of times folks are wearing a lot of these jewels and stuff like that because they want to attract. They pay more money than they than they really have or can afford for the aesthetic of looking like they have money,
Mhm.
which materialism, in order to gain the attention or sexual attention of women. In the transverse, you have women who are seeking the sexual attention of men who will. But in some cases that's not always true. You can meet some brother who who's thug with his sagging, and he can drop the whole freaking 180 something
Right.
lessons or whatever, you know what I mean. And
Right.
yeah, so but I think that's more, but I think all around, usually your balance is going to reflect how you think, and where your head is at is also going to reflect on how you appear, mostly, but not all the time. Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Do
Yeah.
you remember when stripping was not like a viable occupation?
Now it's yeah, now said shoot, but
I
I don't
remember
know.
when like stripping
Right.
was not like something that you would be.
Yeah.
You didn't want to tell nobody that you was a dancer. You
Right.
would do
Right.
it on the side. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like I don't
Right.
tell my parents, but I had to do this trying to make some money.
Right.
Now it's almost like you got people like Black China that made
Right.
stripping popular.
Right.
Like they became the new celebrities, the
Hmm.
strippers. And
Right.
I think
Right.
that kind of brought a new dynamic to how people behave,
Hmm.
and everyone is doing these stripper moves. Because like that, even that position where I showed you with little Kim with the legs gapped open, that is a
Yeah.
stripper pose.
Right.
And twerking is a stripper thing
Right.
to do. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
And it's not something that you should just be doing. That's usually done in a strip, like in like a strip club.
Right.
And we got little kids doing it. men doing it.
That's
for
the
some
thing
reason.
too. Yeah, the twerking and stuff. I've seen videos where little girls are twerking, little like 4-year-olds and stuff like that. Which I get so upset when I see that. You know what I mean? And then there's videos where a girl has basically some really tight shorts and the cheeks are hanging out at the bottom, and the little boy is over there and he slaps on the butt. And it's like that you're walking around the house with your child, you know what I'm saying, like that, and he's like 5 and 6 years old. The fact that he's even paying attention to your backside is or it should let you know that he sees it sexually.
Or why would he even know to slap it? See,
Slap it.
Somebody else to do it.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And connect these two dots too. Look at the like I would say around the 1960s to present, divorce and the collapse of black families, marriages. You know what I'm saying? Divorce is higher. You know what I'm saying? Prior to that, and I would say that there's a lot of factors why marriages lasted a lot longer. You know what I'm saying? From the 50s and going back further, but nowadays, you know what I'm saying? Marriage. You know what I'm saying? A lot of folks are not even dealing with marriage. You got folks, black men talking about why, you know what I'm saying, marriage is not good for the black men. The degradation of the black family is also during this time where the hypersexuality is coming out.
And you know what? I think that we have to get rid of that whole porn not porn. Sorry, that too, because now you got your average person willing to do OnlyFans, willing to be on Pornhub and
right, and
on Twitter getting it in with somebody, so I think that people, the more that we become liberated sexually, the more that we become imprisoned of our own, like our
right, because it's lower nature stuff, right? There has to be a balance of that spirituality especially with sexuality and with the lower nature, and that's where that modesty comes from.
And I think
it's like taming the tiger, keeping.
Feeds into homosexuality too, because like if you see nothing but boobs everywhere you go, there's nothing special about that. Right. So I mean, because if you think about a lot of entertainers that probably explore sexuality in other ways, they probably had an abundance of women that they've slept with, and then that's when they start doing other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Look at P. Diddy. He probably had. He's been with everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because
Clive Davis. Even with Clive Davis.
Right. It's like so much. It's so readily acceptable. It's no longer a commodity anymore.
Right.
Like the value of it's just gone down.
Yeah, they lose the value of it, and then start going to other diverse lusts in order to satisfy. You know what I'm saying? Some erotic. You know what I'm saying? Fantasy or something. And people get into the choking and stuff. People are choking each other to death. You know what I'm saying? This is getting ridiculous, y'all.
But wait, hold on. Let me dive in. Let me dive in for 1 second. I heard you talk, right? So, I mean, we got to understand that this stuff has been going on already. The only thing that's the issue, like prior to like the social media booms and having the opportunity, the freedom to express yourself and be able to show the world what you do personally inside your life, it's always been going on closed doors. It's just now that as we move more and evolve in society, we are getting more freedoms to be who we are. We're getting more freedoms to show the world who we are and things like that. And that continues the evolution, you know what I'm saying, of humanity and different like sexual practices going on in the world. Like people been doing this already.
Yeah, I have to give you some pushback though. You know what I'm saying? Yes, they have. And and when things were in the closed door, things were sacred. Not so necessarily that somebody had to hide what but sexual stuff.
See, look at her. She said, "Choke me a little bit." Look at that. Choke me. See?
Right. What that sound like? Like the
choke me a little bit, right?
I don't catch CDD charges.
Right.
I'm just saying.
But I don't want to mix violence. You know what I'm saying? We're like, punch me in the neck. No, man. You know what I'm saying? Slam me on my jaw. I love you.
No, but that's the freedom. That's the freedom. Yo, that's the freedom that we got as human beings is to be able
watch
to.
this. But watch this. Watch this.
I think
You know that when
from the BDSM audience and crew that started that stuff, and now we got people that then went over to them sex parties with the BDSM going on, and now we done brought this over in our community. 50 Shades of Grey came out, and we done went nuts with it. We don't even know what the heck.
But
they've been that way. They've been that way. That's what I'm saying. It's been that way already.
I don't think that was going on in the black community.
There's a place and time for
everything.
But watch this with Rome, for instance. You know, did you know that the Roman Empire, right before its absolute collapse, was when it had became the most overly sexual, you know what I'm saying? People were effing in the streets and it was nothing. The sexuality that was going on in the, you know what I'm saying, it was like not to get all biblical about it, but it got like Sodom and Gomorrah type. And that would, a lot of scholars say that what marked the actual collapse of the Roman Empire had a lot to do with the that people became so overly decadent and overly obsessive and sexual that, you know what I'm saying, they got, you know what I'm saying, they were weak.
Here.
What's that?
She's like, I'll show you how I like it. You see what I'm saying? So now, that's what that lady just said, a new woman. So now, the black woman did sex like that. You know what happened? What happened is, the black woman been so sexy. Yes, listen, the black woman has been so sexual, she's been so sexy, and she's been so freaky that the black man couldn't handle that shit. So what the black man did was, they tried, like I said, they tried to tame it. They tried to tame it. So they say, wait, hold on. So what they did to the black woman, was this. What they did, black males to say, like, if you are with me, you can't dress like that no more. If you are with me, you can't go to the club and bounce your ass like that no more because you're in a relationship with me. You understand what I'm saying? So the black male could not handle that openly sexual expression because sometimes those women be in the club and they just be dancing, but they don't really be thinking I'm about to have sex with this dude. The dude is thinking that shit.
You must have,
you see what I'm saying?
Part when I had to read how they were used to propagate how hypersexual black women were in order to justify graping them. You must have missed that.
Okay.
You must have missed that.
I didn't miss that part.
I object.
Hold on, wait. So just because a woman dance like that does not make it okay for a dude to do it.
Yeah, no matter if it's okay or not.
I didn't say that. I'm talking about how white people projected the hypersexualization of black women.
I don't know. Explain deeper.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's at the beginning. I'm not gonna go back over unless we
I think
the Brenda the Sarah Bartmans and stuff. You know what I mean?
I think and who owns these record labels that these people are on that's putting out this stuff? Who's putting the distribution out?
Black woman was so freaky. I don't believe that. Saying black woman was so freaky. You know
well, I'm gonna say like this. I think
that sounds like some. That's creepy.
That black women are so freaky. That's weird.
Everybody has a healthy sexual appetite. Now you start freaking doing all kinds of crazy stuff or promoting that kind of stuff.
Okay, let me explain something. All right, let me dive in just real quick. Black females, even back in high school, I'm from the Midwest. The reason why they was not really open.
Real quick, before you get into that, you must be really close to your microphone because it's like sounding muffled and stuff like that. And
okay, can I step back a little bit like this? Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay, so even in high school, even when I used to mess around with females, the main thing was they were really freaky back then, but the black males would tell their business. Like, so they stopped like really repressed it a lot of the time. You know what I'm saying? So it's been like that for a while. It's just a lot of women would get with a dude and be like, can I really be openly and tell you what I really, really like? And then they're going to wonder, am I going to be judged for telling you? Am I going to be ridiculed? If I do these nasty things with you, you're going to run and tell your homeboys and all that. Those were major factors even back in high school. You know what I'm saying? So I think a lot of times, I think like right now when we look at culture, I think we put too much emphasis on what white people think of us. know what I mean, think of black people, and you know what I mean, and care too much about that when their opinions really, really don't matter to that degree. So if we putting out the content or whatever like that, what's wrong with black people taking, like how you said, the record labels? What's stopping black people from owning these record labels and being the distribution companies or being the parent companies and things like that? I feel like a lot of them just don't want to do it. They don't want to compete with the white power structure and being able to take control of the music, taking control of their own content. They just are content with creating the content.
But I don't think you could just say that about black women, because I mean, if you grew up in a white neighborhood, you probably had that girl that ran a train on too. You know what I'm saying? Come on now.
They were all doing it. I'm not saying one specific girl. We're just talking about black women.
Black women, are freaky, because I think that there was a long time where people wasn't even doing fellatio. You know what I'm saying? It was looked down.
Back in the 1500s?
Well, no. I remember even back when I was growing up, it was not something that it was not.
It wasn't talked about, but they were doing it.
They were doing it. That's what I'm saying.
It was looked down upon, though. I know in my community, it was looked down upon. It was like, no, if you got, saying that you were doing that, that was like, what? You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, the Caribbean, like Jamaicans too, man. You know what I mean? That was a big no-no. You know what I mean? They had songs about that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Head high, killing with that's about not, you know what I'm saying, going down.
Can I say something? Can I say something?
Go ahead.
Okay. I've had. I'm gonna try to be real ladylike with this. Sex is important. Has always been important in my life. And some of the things that we was talking about, that black women were freakier and all that. It was just that we tried to put certain things with certain races in certain categories. And a lot of the stuff that the BDSM people are doing, I didn't learn that from BDSM. I learned that from, experience in the bedroom. And so I think that, with the music, it went twofold. There's a lot of people that's dealing with sexual traumas and things like that. And, people are healing and being more open in their sexuality. And I think this is where it's coming from. And yes, it's causing an uproar. But, everybody has a different backstory, of their sexuality and why they are the way they are. If I was to tell y'all some stories, y'all be like, oh my gosh, we're going to have to stop the show. Right. But it's just.
I'll tell you some stories about things that I've been involved with. I used to DJ for S&M clubs and be the DJ. So
I know you got some stories.
Yeah, I've seen all kind of wild stuff, and but the thing is that the bondage community, I think it was more, they were more doing stuff like as a show, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like it like they were acting out stuff. It was really interesting to DJ for this. It's like these people are getting all dressed up and just doing like this weird ass just stuff that's pushing each other to the limit of pain. And I'm thinking to these stuff, I'm watching this happen. And like, what is I don't get the lure of being in pain. You know what I'm saying? But I guess it somehow it makes some kind of adrenaline. What they explained to me is that the body does not. I guess if you're not paying attention, the body will not know the difference between pain and pleasure.
If you got it, you might as well. I mean, that sounds like some. What's that movie freaking with Pinhead and you know what I'm saying, like the
Hellraiser,
the hook, Hellraiser. Nah, if you got to do all of that, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I'll shoot. I'll pass on the hooks, the needle hooks, and all of that. You know what I'm saying? No strap ball in my mouth. Nah, man, that's some good stuff, man. I'm good. No
spanking, no choking. Okay.
Spanking, okay. Choking. Listen, I'm afraid somebody gonna die. Listen, it's fixing.
No, you gotta know how to do it. You got to know how to do it.
I don't want to choke a woman. You know what I'm saying? I don't even want to think about choking a woman. You know what I'm saying?
Man, he might start thinking about his job.
Throw you in a freaking figure 4 leg lock. You know what I'm saying?
Man, listen, on the way there, he probably got pulled over and stuff.
That coochie get wet, and then that grip happen. It'd be a totally different conversation. But that's another topic for another day.
You know,
but no, what I was saying is that, you know, but if you had a bad day at work that day before and you start, you know, you getting it in, you probably start thinking about when you went to work and you choking the person and you forget that, next thing you know, that person's like unconscious.
No, it's not like that.
There's been court cases where I've seen a man argue. So in one recently, I think it was maybe a couple of months ago, a man was arguing in self-defense for his dead girlfriend that, you know what I'm saying, he strangled, and his argument was that they had BDSM. They was into the BDSM. You know, and there was actual history of that, you know, recordings of them, you know, and and even text messages that, so she asked, you know, talking about, you know, what they call sexting or whatever, talking about choking and stuff like that from him and his girlfriend. So, okay, right. Well, you know, but then that leaves out the question: did he really? Was it intentional? Did she piss him off or something? Or, you know?
They didn't have a safe word. They didn't have a safe word. That's what that was.
Yeah, a safe word. How can you say a safe word if you choke? If you you can't breathe, you know what I mean? You know, you've got to tap out. I guess, like, you know, like you in a But, you know, I think, you know, I don't know. I think you start exploring, you start going too far and exploring, and you start justifying other things, right? One time,
you could die just having sex. Somebody's
Sure, well, I would rather die of a heart attack in the act. You know what I'm saying? That's a good way to go. You know,
I almost got suffocated one time.
Oh, let me hear that story. What happened?
Okay, so check it out. I'm gonna tell you. Check it out. This was in high school, right? So just give you, like, so I got introduced to porno VHS, stealing them from my mom and all that. So I used to really, really like oral sex, like giving it, like all the time. Like I like mastered it by watching it. So I remember. So I'm in, like, I think it was the summer of me going into my freshman year. I was going out on a girl, and she wrapped her legs around my face and my neck in like a wrestling move, and I could not breathe. And if she didn't climax and everything, I couldn't get out. Yeah, I couldn't get out. Yeah, I couldn't even get out. I was like, and I remember hitting her leg, and she didn't care. She had my hair.
You see, you almost died. I almost died.
That's what I'm saying. I almost got suffocated to death.
You need to pull back a little bit.
I guess it comes down to whether you can trust the person not to choke you all the way. You know,
man, I know. I didn't even think it was gonna go that way, man. That thing I know was snap and had me.
She might have a flashback to her ex-boyfriend who used to go upside her head. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I mean?
It couldn't get out. I couldn't get out.
So what happened? How did you get her to let go?
She let go when she climaxed.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah. Okay. And she was on the track team. Yeah, she had them strong legs. She was on the track team.
Oh, wow. Amazing. Yeah, amazing story. I'm glad you made it out.
You made it out.
I'm trying to tell you.
And I bet she never forgot that. Huh?
And I never went down on her again. It was over. Yo, that blood started rushing through your head. You get your oxygen back, man. You ain't dealing with that no more. Yeah.
Wow. That's wow. I don't know whether to laugh or cry. That was a wow.
Yeah, I think you know, like with the modesty thing, you know, it's a pleasant surprise when you get in, you know, in the bedroom and you know, and y'all are able to express yourselves like that, you know. But you know, a lot of times, you know, you people are wearing it on a sleeve. You know what I'm saying? I don't particularly care for, you know, like when you're having you're in, say, a business meeting, like I was telling Queen Ty, that I was working for a lawyer, and she had a gay, legal assistant, and somehow almost all of his conversations would turn into something about, the size of my penis. And and it would just piss me off. It's just like, okay, now that you're crossing boundaries, that you should not. Like, where is the line from when something is appropriate sexually, even if you explore different freaky stuff, as brother said. Where's the line with sexual expression when it becomes too pervy, too uncomfortable, too inappropriate? We're starting to wipe away those lines, and that's where I'm getting at. And then some, Uncle Perm come up to you, with his shirt off, or that, and you mad, and why you mad? Why you mad? This is what you was waving that flag yesterday. And now you waving a white flag today for surrender. Like, right.
Right.
So,
hey, ain't no fun if Uncle Perm can't have none.
Y'all crazy.
I have a question for all y'all. And then I'm gonna go get my baby from work. I can only go by my experiences. You could be, dressed appropriately, talking appropriately, making sure you have boundaries and not flirtatious or whatever. But do you believe a person can have such a strong sexual energy that it draws that attention? I've been told that. Like, you got strong sexual energy. This is why I'm saying XYZ. What do y'all feel about that?
Definitely.
Well, even if you have a strong sexual energy, that should not determine my inability to control my sexual urges or towards you. I should be still. I could have like, for instance, you exude that, and I can look at you, and and in my head, but I don't have to. Every opportunity does not have to be an opportunity for me to engage in some form of sexual conversation, or turn every conversation into something, talk about something spiritual without going back into the lower ledge, or talk about business, or talk about money, or talk about without all of a sudden, like, this is pause culture now. Almost everything has a pause on the back of it, because everything all of a sudden turns into, hamburgers and hot dogs. Oh yeah, pause. Like, come on, B.
Right.
Like, now your brain is only functioning in the lower. You're not even getting out of your Abdullah oblongata for 2 minutes without having a conversation that turns into dicks and vaginas.
And people don't even understand by bringing the same.
And that's weird. There has to be some decorum, some discipline, that, and I think that that's attractive. That, the conversation could go here, go there, but there's still an air of imagination. There's still like with the gift wrapping thing. Can I could fantasize? Can I fantasize? Without broadcasting.
Okay, I want to answer, because I got to go get my son as well. Yeah. So I want to answer real quick. I think when we look at sexual decorum, right? I think as Black males, and I learned this in high school. I think a lot of women, or teenage, whatever, they will have more experience than us for whatever reason. So the thing is, when I used to see that, I never judged, I never ridiculed, I never looked at girls saying, like, come behind the bleachers, I'm gonna do this. Like how you said, there's times where some dudes got forced into stuff because you would be considered a punk if you didn't do certain things. Right. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And then sometimes you have to have the decorum and be like, the way you present it, be like, no, I can't do it right now, and just explain. I want to fantasize you a little bit more. I want to do this, and if you explain it and not just shut it down and make her feel a certain kind of way or whatever, then that is kind of like dope as well. You know what I mean? Because I've heard a lot of stuff, and I just was just like, I ain't tripping. Like you can share that with me, and it gave me a way of fantasizing by them explaining to me like what they like. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, listen, I encourage all women, if you are listening, put one of these on. Start
Now
with
that's a beekeeper suit. That's
how we need to be walking around from now on.
that's a beekeeper suit. That's crazy.
And I'd be like, come on under here, boy. Come on under
You
here.
know what I'm saying? Let me hide you up under here. Let me hide you up under here.
Hey, like, hey, come on, come here, come on.
That's too much gift wrapping.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Hey, thanks for bringing me up. I gotta go take care of my son. All right, thanks, Sean. I appreciate it.
Listen, y'all, today is a full moon coming up tonight. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of it.
Yes, ma'am.
So make sure that you guys are, I'm not sure if you guys have a ritual that you do, but the full moon is a really important time. It's also not a full moon. I'm sorry, solar eclipse.
Solar eclipse. Yeah,
that's what I meant to say. Solar eclipse. So that's going to be something special. The energy. So make sure that you set your intentions. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a lot going on. Set your intentions for this time. I think that's what you do during the solar eclipse, right? You set intentions.
Yes, set your intentions, light a candle, meditate, do something where your energy is directed to that. You could write something on paper and burn it and watch it burn in the flame and blow it out into the atmosphere, knowing that spirit's going to bring it back to you. So whatever you do, nothing's wrong, nothing's right. Whatever you feel led to do.
Whatever your idea of what it is. You know what I'm saying? When these planets and stuff like that happen, it's the energy to it. But what really boils down to it is that, it's great to have modesty. We don't have to be walking around with our boobs hanging out in our. Right. It's about to be summertime, y'all, and I would say let the sun hit your hair.
Look at this. The sundress is one of the most loved. Like men, we love sundresses, right? Mm-hmm. And why? Why? When it covers the whole, because a sundress, just perfectly, graces the curves, and a sundress can be absolutely sexy. Even though a sundress can go all the way down to your ankles, it could still be just as erotic, if not more, to me. And I don't think that everybody has to be butt naked and have a titty hanging out and they BBLs freaking daggone, clapping, in order for you to be a sexual being. And
I heard those BBLs stink anyways.
I wouldn't know. They don't look like they move and jiggle. If you don't jiggle, I ain't going with it.
Man, look. What? Wow.
Right, and your booties do be jiggling in the sun.
Freaking look like a hard like a burnt bun or something.
See, the ladies with BBLs gonna go off. They gonna be mad tonight.
Listen, we have to learn how to be more natural. Let the sun hit that hair, because that hair be stinking underneath them wigs. You know what I'm saying? Have you ever
my God, Janet, stop it!
That's why you got that thing on. That's why you keep slapping your head, because it's itching. That buildup of dirt and salt and everything from sweat.
They don't wash their hair and shit. I don't know how that goes.
Man, that's why they wear the bonnet. They put the bonnet on because they're trying to save that wig hairdo. They trying to, because they done got it glued down, so they trying to keep the hairdo. They put a little strap on the end of it to lay down the fake baby hairs, and then it's a little strap they put around it, and they put the bonnet on it to protect the wig. But I'm like, bro, that's a lot of stuff to have on your hair. Your hair's not breathing. That's why it's falling out. You got a wig on, you got a bonnet on, you got like a strap around it. I mean, come on now, and glue, and then you putting all that heat on some glue, and then you walking around with the bonnet on in some pajamas and
pajamas.
When you're not walking around with your behind hanging out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like, come on now. You got your night clothes on, you're outside. I think bonnets should only be, only wear those in the house. Don't go outside with them on. All that stuff about the weave being a protective hairstyle.
Back in the day, guys didn't wear, guys couldn't wear what do you call it? Do-rags out. They take the do-rag before they walk out the door, so you can see the waves and stuff like that. And then at some point, wearing a do-rag outside became fashionable. You
which
know,
is crazy. Now people
yeah.
looking crazy.
It's like,
You know what I'm
walking outside with curlers in your hair. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And then you had dudes doing that and with the shower caps. You know what I'm saying? That was crazy. That was crazy.
Modesty is not just about being naked. It's also
Right. It's
about looking
about
stupid and crazy.
right,
And
right,
have
right.
some class.
Have some right. Certain things are tacky. That word doesn't exist anymore. Tacky. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Dudes wearing as a guy, I personally, you know what I'm saying, do not wear open toe sandals. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can clown me. I wear the little over the old schools, you know what I'm saying, with the strap over the front, like, you know what I'm saying, like I'm about to cook at a barbecue or something, you know what I'm saying? OG status, you know what I mean? But toes out, and then you got the guys wearing the flip flop, the Nike flip flops with the socks on, tacky. It's weird, B. It's just weird to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? And running the streets, you know what I'm saying, outside, like you got on a pair of sneakers and you out here with flip flops on.
Man, another thing is don't the blanket. You know what I'm saying? People walking around with blankets on.
No, I haven't seen that yet. I'm gonna be upset. Just gonna lay down wherever you want to.
I don't know where.
I guess it's practical. You get tired, you can just lay down.
Right, just lay down.
Take a nap.
I'm like, dude, if you need a coat, just go get a coat. Why you got on a blanket? You about to go to bed? You
looking like Linus with your thumb in your mouth and shit.
Right. It's almost like a Linus thing.
Right.
Like needing comfort and stuff. Like, so we have to like, modesty is not just about like not showing your whatever your cookies, but also about like having like some taste and class when you're out.
Class,
in public.
dignity. You can still have to present yourself in a way where people respect you, because if you're going to have that sexual, that be able to be sexually expressive, you know what I'm saying, you also have to, in order to set boundaries, there has to be a sense or that you have boundaries.
Exactly. And these are the boundaries. You need to have boundaries. That's the boundary.
Like, some sisters that'll throw that on if they see certain, Uncle Perm come at them, you know what I'm saying? Put that on real quick, you know what I'm saying?
All right.
All right.
This was a great show. It was a great show. I had to, we're gonna have to come on another subject and bring you back, because these are pretty entertaining, very, very informative. Just give us some final words on the way out. What's your final words?
Yeah, I don't really have much left to say. I think everybody covered it. It's hard for people to hide themselves, right? Hide who you truly are. You know what I mean? And so I think sometimes when people speak, you can kind of read between the lines and kind of judge, or not so much judge, but kind of get a rough sketch of the kind of character that you're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? Whether somebody is fleshy, you know what I'm saying, a crotch monster, like my Rastafari elder Jabab said, the crotches, all them talk about is crotches. The crotch monster. You know what I'm saying? And and I guess you have to judge what your intention is with somebody. If you're with somebody just for fling, or if you're with somebody for the long haul, what is it that you value and what you think that person values? Is it going to work out for a long term? Is it a short term thing? Is it a one night stand, I guess, like that? And I think that you exude that, you know what I'm saying? And people read in between the lines and say, oh, he or she is this. And so, you put them, compartmentalize them into that box. And then somebody's upset. Well, oh, they wanted more, but if you project the one night stand, you're going to get the one night stand. If you project, long term, you're going to get long term. Is that what that says?
I think it feeds into the whole culture of this manosphere. They love to bring up videos of us looking crazy. So why feed into that? Why don't we be more modest?
Right.
And I mean,
men too. Yeah.
They have a point to some of the stuff that they're saying. Not everything. You know what I'm saying? But hey, we have to take advice when it comes. If it makes sense, we gotta come on, use our brains.
Right.
With that, I say shouts out. You know what I'm saying? What you gonna say?
I said you won't catch me in no gray sweatpants. The baggy D's and Wu Tang forever.
I'm being like this, walking around. All summer long.
Yo, if the gown is flowing like a sundress, it ain't gonna matter much.
Man,
somebody gonna be looking to see where that crease falls on that.
Black outfit. Come on now.
I love who I am. I'm loving me. Look in the mirror. Unapologetically love what I see. Love who I am. I am invincible. I am a fan. My curves and my features, God makes no mistakes. I am successful. I am what it takes. I'm bulletproof. I'm 100 proof, and I love who I see because I'm living my truth. I'm invincible. I'm incredible. A star in the making. I reach past the clouds. I'm invincible. I'm incredible, and no one can stop me. Can't stop me now. I'm invincible.